Welcome back, super friends. Today we are going to be practicing multiplying decimals by powers of 10. We've done this in the past, but we're going to practice it again for our new unit, which is multiplying decimals. All you'll need today is your math notebook or folder, a pencil to write with, and don't forget that super brain of yours. Stay tuned for the video. All right, super friends, let's get started. Again, this is more of a review because we've been practicing this before. But today we're going to multiply decimals by powers of 10. Remember, when you multiply a decimal by a power of 10, you move the decimal point to the right and fill in any missing spaces with zeros. And remember, we're moving it to the right by the amount of zeros that we have in our power of 10 or by the exponent in our power of 10. So for example, let's get started. Our first example says 275 thousandths times 10 to the power of 3. So what does that mean that we're doing? We are going to be moving our decimal point that's there to the right. We're moving this decimal point to the right 3 times because of this number. So let's move it 1, 2, 3 times. So now the decimal point goes here. So I have 2, 7, 5. Decimal point, or you can say 2, 7, 5, decimal point 0, or you can say 275 without any decimal points. Those are all the correct answer. Now let's look at this next one. The next one we have 8 and 266 thousandths times 100. Now this one doesn't have an exponent, but it is still a power of 10. Because 10 times 10 equals 100. So I just moved this decimal point to the right this many times, 2 zeros worth. So I'm moving it 1, 2 times. So now the decimal point goes there. So my answer looks like 826.6. Now in these two problems that we just did, there's no missing spaces, so we don't have to plug in any zeros. This one would just be the answer. There's no other things that we could do with it. It's just 826.6 now. Let's move on to the next problem. Now this one says 468 and 23 hundredths times 10 to the 4th power. So that means, again, we're multiplying only. So we're moving it to the right. And I move it to the right 4 places because of this exponent. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now here's where I see our 2 missing spaces. So we would put a 0 here and a 0 here. Those are our placeholders. So let me finally write down my number. I would have 4. I'm bringing that 4 down. 6, 8, 2, 3, 0, and then the last 0. And then remember my decimal point. So this is what my number would look like. This is what my number would look like. It would have, remember you start backwards, 1, 2, 3, comma, 1, 2, 3, comma. So it would be 4,682,300. And then we have our decimal point here. Of course, I could put a 0 after here, but it's not necessary. My answer could just be 4,682,300. That could be my decimal point, or sorry, that could be my answer. Let's go down and do the next 2 problems. Right now here, we have the answer already, but we're missing the exponent. We want to know how many times did we have to move the decimal in order for it to look like our answer. So let me start moving my decimal out of the way. So in our answer, there's no decimal point at all. So that basically means that the decimal point is here. So let's see how many times I need to move my decimal point for it to end up there. So 1, 2. For it to end up at the end of the number so that it just says 362, I move it twice. So that means my number in the box is 2. Now, last one. This time, our decimal point started in front of the 4, but now it's after the 8 in my answer. So let's see how many times I need to move this decimal point to get it to be between the 8 and the 9. So 1, 2. Oh, okay, just 2. That way it could be between the 8 and the 9. Move it twice. So that's basically what we're doing right now with all these problems that you'll have. Remember these steps and you'll be good.